Welcome back to the mud shop. This is going to be a glaze kiln opening that's a little different than I usually have. I have a lot of pieces in here. Some of these are surprise pieces for family members, and some of these are other people's pieces. I did a little class with senior adults at our church, and all of their pieces are in here. Met with them one day, and they made their little plates and little extra trinket things, and then we met again and they glazed them. I fired this 2 days ago. It took it 11 hours and 14 minutes to fire. I did do a longer hold at the top temperature because other people had glazed things. I wanted to make sure there were no pinholing or anything in it. I used a variable glazes, big variety. Some new glazes from the stoneware glazes from Mako. I did some little tiny ornament type things to test each one of these glazes. They're not available to buy separately yet, but you can find this at your local clay and glaze supplier. I got this from Glaze Queen, I believe, online. Anyway, testing out these glazes. Also, in this is the two that I think I'm going to like the most are Beetle Wing and Mood Ring. And I just like the way they sound together. I did some pieces with them both together. All right, the kiln has cooled down to 90 degrees. It's time to open it up and see what we have. I have a lot of these little beads. You can actually see it here. My bead tree is fuller than I have ever had it before. Well, let's start out with the cones that I did, my witness cones. I used 4, 5, and 6, and all 3 of them are down. So I really got a very good cone 6. See, if it's bent this far down, I count it as a 6. My 4 is just about melted down. 5 is good. 6 is good. All right, so a hot cone 5 or a cone 6, that can be counted as. All right, so I'm going to start from the top and work my way down. Here are my little ornaments. This is how I loaded my bead tree. This is the most I've ever put on it before to fire at one time. If you see the end, I kind of balanced them out. I put ornaments on the outside to hold the wire so it doesn't bend. And the inside, see, I had 5 rods on it. Okay, I'm gonna set this to the side and we'll go over these colors here. Let's see. These are the stroke and coat colors. This one is the new lavender that's, let's see, this is lilac speck. This is lilac speck out of the new glazes. This is just stroke and coat yellow. These are stroke and coat the blues. This is just stroke and coat red. This is the lavender also. And this one on the last one here, I think is the lavender also. And it's got like a little speckle to it. I won't go through all of these, but I wanted you to see this one is a little different. Let's see if I can get it. This little blue one is called Tidal Wave. That's one of the sample glazes. These I wasn't really impressed with for small things because it's like a cream tan color with little specks that will burst into color. Well, the blue one, the Tidal Wave, had a lot of those blue specks in it, but this other one didn't. These are called pink pearl and lily pad. So this is the pink pearl. It should have some red specks in it, but I didn't get any specks on this little piece. Keep that in mind if you get the pink pearl. Out of this little piece, I think I got one little speck. The rest, it was just the cream color. This one, a little more of the coloring came out in it, but mostly it's just the cream color. So, let's see. Let's move on to what else is in here. This one is the, I believe this is the, this is jaded. This is jade. And this is the mood ring, I think. So it doesn't have a lot of texture. These are garden sculptures. I've got the little thing on the back. How did I fire these? Well, I wanted it glazed everywhere as much as I could. I wanted both sides glazed because it is going to be on the outside. You'll put a rod here. I'll use epoxy E6000 to hold it on. It works well outside. I used these kind of little stilts, one under here, one under here, and then I had a little tiny one under the it did not actually sag, but I did have it. This part of this was under this one, and the rest of it was under the other bunny. So it rested here, but I wanted, just in case it tilted in the kiln, I did not want it sticking to a shelf. But it fired well. Flat, they turned out real well. Both bunnies. I used a little stamp where his eye and nose and the tail would be. Drop these in here. I used a lot of stilts. Also have these little red birds, and the blue was stroke and coat the blues. The red is just hot tamale stroke and coat, and that's what these are, the blues. And you can see I've had some of my little stilt little strips that's broke, and I keep the little pieces. You can see they're kind of stuck on there. That's how I fired them. They just pop off, no problem. And these are really, really tiny, tiny little stilts that I used. I use a lot of them in this firing. All right, I've got little small bunny. I used different color stroke and coats, and then I just did a clear over it. And he fired on the little stilts also. All right, I did garden birds. This one is the combination of, I'm gonna need this closer where I can remember. Tidal wave through the middle. Pink pearl and lily pad. The lily pad is on the bottom part. It just got a little bit of green specks on it. And the tidal wave is one on top, and then pink pearl through the center of it. And on the back also. But I got a few more of the little burst specks in this one because it's a little bit bigger piece. All right. Wow. I like this color. This is actually it's a stroke and coat yellow, but it's on a tan clay, standard 112 speckled buff clay, and this is stroke and coat red, and I just glazed both sides. And again, I use all those stilts to fire them on. And here's my little stilt strips. I just put them out and balanced them the best I could. Okay. All right, we're going down a shelf. All right, let me pick up these posts. I write notes out, and this is what my notes look like. So it sometimes takes me a minute to look. My spoons I'm fixing to get out. I put cobalt wash on it. Okay, the teal agate is from Speedball. That is this glaze. That was new. So this is the first time I've used it. And some of the glazes will be matte at cone 5 and get glossy at cone 6. So since this reached a cone 6, I know this is all it's going to give me as far as gloss. So let me pull up the stilt also so you can look. This is a spoon or a ladle stilt, and that's how I fire these, just rested on them. And I'll sand down these little, well, actually it didn't leave any spots, but sometimes it'll leave a little spot where it's on the little peg. But this is the agate, and the teal agate. And I just did a little bit of a cobalt wash on it first here, and then did the glaze on it. And it is a matte type glaze. Okay, here's the other one. And I did just like a little dipper. And that's that teal agate. It feels real good, the smooth glaze, even though it's not glossy. Okay, I also did 2 little goblets, and I used Winterwood, which is a Mako glaze on the base and on the inside. I love the way it does a little speckle, and it is a little bit of a matte glaze also, which worked well with the teal agate. And I did do a light flux on the rim, which really will feel nice when you go to drink out of it, because it is more glossy, and I like the feel of a glossy rim when I'm drinking out of them. So this will be nice. This is a set of goblets. All right, more birds, and like I say, lots of stilts. Okay, this bird I tried the pink speck, lilac speck, and baby blue speck. So this is the pink on the top, baby blue, and lilac speck. And this is the Mako's new glazes, and here it is on the back. That turned out nice. Those 3 played nice together. All right, and this is again the yellow, and it turned green on this dark clay. Okay, this one. All right, these are my stroke and coat colors. I used cantaloupe stroke and coat. I used hot tamale. I used, let's see, what color is my purple? It's just a lavender color. I got pinky swear, and I know it's not that one. I think it might be pinky swear that I have on it. So here's my bird. All right. More bunnies. This one was done on the dark clay like the light one was, with the stroke and coat colors just all over, and then clear on top of it. Thought that would be a attention getter. And these, I just did a red stroke and coat bow on it, and a little touch where the tail is, and then I did clear over it. And these are all the standard 112 speckle buff clay. Told you I had a lot of bunnies. One more bunny and one little angel. Now this one is, I believe that's Linda Strahan. That's one of hers that she glazed, and she used snow on this one. Right, here is another bunny that's just done in, I believe this one was done with one of the new glazes. This must have been the lilac speck, so it didn't leave a whole lot to see on this dark clay. So that'll be one thing to keep in mind if you get these new colors. This is, they do change when you put them on a speckle buff clay. All right, so this is, all right, I've got the ladies' names on the paper over here to the side, and as I pull their pieces out, I'll put their things beside their name so I can get it to them this week. I have one more little bird, and he is Stroke and Coat the Blues. All right, the next class I'm going to work with the ladies will be in October. We'll make them in October, glaze them in November. All right, I used, okay, let me find on here where my pumpkins are. I know I wrote it down. Pumpkins. Ivy on the stem and leaf, Stroke and Coat. Oh, okay, so I had the Tic Tac turquoise and jade. All right, so that's this one. It's got Tic Tac turquoise here and ivy on the leaves, and then I used jade Stroke and Coat, and then I did clear over the whole thing. And this one, I may have, let's see, I know I did ivy on the leaves, beetle wing on the leaves, and tangelo on the, so this is beetle wing on the stem. So let me hold it a little. So I did beetle wing on the stem. Let's see, you can see the difference. Yeah. And the leaf. Okay. And this one has ivy on the stem and leaves. I like the beetle wing. It's a little bit darker, but you can see it does have a variation in color. So that'll be their next class. I wanted to do a couple different colors so they could see what they look like. I don't have any in my shop because they sell fast as I make those. So I'll let them make one this time. Let's get this shelf out. All right, let's see what we have here. Now let's get these posts out of the way. I have, okay, one of the ladies loves little garden worms, so she made 2 of them, and I fired them on the bed of nails. These are all Stroke and Coat colors. I believe this one, though, is a lavender. This is Amico's lavender on the base of it. This one she did Stroke and Coat the Blues. They turned out really cute. Have such character. Look at their little red lips. All right, Laura. Okay, let's see. Get the rest of these. Also have another little pumpkin. This one is Tangelo on the base, and this is just ivy for the stem and leaves. Ivy is a Mako glaze. Tangelo is Amico. That's the little tiny pumpkin. Okay, more birds. Okay, this one is beetle wing, mood ring, and I think the middle of this one is lily pad. Yeah. Beetle wing is lighter than the mood ring, and that turned out pretty good. Here it is on a flat surface with no texture. This is how it breaks over texture. Okay, more leaping bunnies. And it looks like no matter what I put on them, except for the stroking coat, it all turned out about the same color on this dark clay. So even though I did these all different colors, they pretty much look the same, don't they? So, and if you wonder about the leaping bunny, I have a cutter that I got from DayLawDesignGifts.com. I wish they did multiples. Well, they do two different sizes of them. So, more stilts. All right. More birds. This one is the blues on the dark clay. This is the hot tamale on the dark clay. And this is all different color stroke and coat dots with clear over it on the dark clay. This is just hot tamale dots on it with the clear. This one is the blues. This one is what the yellow does on the dark clay. It almost looks green. And this one, don't know what color it was, but it washed out. So it looks like I just put clear on it. Yeah, the fun will start when I get through, because I'll have to put them all on their little stakes. Get all of it glued on. I wanted to show you too, I use these little steel strips, the little bars, and these are called a bed of nails. And I have fired these things, I know, 20 times or more. And they just keep going strong. All right, let's go down a little deeper. We're getting into everybody's dishes. And they look good. And because they were glazing for the first time, wasn't sure how they would. You know, some people put on a lot of glaze, some people put on a little glaze, and I didn't want it running all over my kiln. So I stuck to the stroke and coats, which are pretty stable glaze, and Amico's Celadons, which are a pretty stable glaze. So what we used was Sky, and that's what both of these are. And you can tell this one got theirs on there pretty good, but this one did a good extra coat, so theirs covered better. Right. Finding their name to know where to put it. Lens, and this one is okay. All right. This one, I I used ivy in the middle, jade around the outside. These are, jade is Amico, ivy is Mako, and then I put a Mako light flux around the edge. I did this one, and I did a cobalt wash and wiped it back so that it would have some color on the back of it. But that I glazed this one because that person was absent, but they said they wanted green, so I did that one. All right, then we have this one. She used sky on the outside and jade on the inside. This one is jade, and this one had little feet on it. Their dishes all came out well. So far, I haven't seen any of them that weren't flat. Nobody's warped, so that's a good thing. Okay, I'm looking for, here we go. Okay, one more here. This one might be a little wobbly. Okay, this one used mulberry on the outside edge and lavender on the inside, and these are Amico. All right, let me go down another level. Okay, this one she used the blues here on the cross, and she used sky on the edges then of the rest of the dish. She did really well doing the sides. Kept it off the bottom well, which I cleaned all the bottoms before I put them in the kiln. But she used a little butterfly stamp. And she did the sky on the butterfly and then glazed around it with the blues. All right. This one was done with jade, and we wiped back a little bit so the texture would show, and then covered it in clear. This one is done in the sky, and she wiped back some so it wouldn't be so thick where she could see her texture also. And then we covered this with clear. Okay. On down here. Right. This one was done with mulberry. And you can tell she probably would have done good to have one more coat of this. But like I say, I was busy with 16 ladies, so I didn't go and individually see how they were glazing. I just give them their glaze, showed them how to do it, and let them go, but that's still, it's pretty. Okay, now we have a lot of small pieces. These were done with jade around the edges and clear in the middle, the little crosses. And then this is just jade. All right, I'm going to have to look close on all these to make sure where they go. But these were all done with the snow. lots of little angels, and they were all done in snow. All these little angels. And they were all done in snow. I'll have to go through and make sure I got everybody's stuff together the right way. Get down to the very bottom. Okay. Oh, I used Jaded, Stroke and Coat's Jaded. I like that color. It's a little different than some of the ones we've got. And this one was just the Stroke and Coat Hot Tamale. Let me get it in the picture. Red and green. Guess what state we're from? All right. Okay. I do a full witness cone pack in the top of my kiln, and then I do cone 5 in the very bottom, because I want to make sure it gets to temperature, gets vitrified in the bottom. And so here's my cone from the bottom. It did reach the good 5. All right, I have, this one was done with mulberry on the cross and white back, and then lavender all over it. Now these are Amico glazes, celadons, and I did a clear over the cross. That turned out really well. And I glazed this one for her because she wasn't able to be there the day we glazed. But she did a good job making that dish. Oh, this one turned out really nice. This one is mulberry, jaded, and lavender. Isn't that pretty? I like those colors together. Wow, turned out good. Good job, Amy. All right. When I was loading all those little tiny birds on the top, once I got all this in, got to the very top, one of them, I was trying to use a broken piece of little steel bar, and I put it on it, and it fell over and went down to the bottom of the kiln. Well, the last time I had a mishap like that, I went ahead and fired it. I did not worry about it. I said whatever it fused to, that's where it was going to be. So I left this one. The last time was a little snowman, and it didn't fuse to anything. This time, this didn't fuse to anything. It landed on the bottom. This is a Stroke and Coat color. It's glazed front and back. Now I do see a little bit of kiln wash right here. I'll just use my Kemper stone and file that off there, and look at there. It didn't hurt it. Fell from the top shelf to the bottom. All right, little bird, you did a good job. I believe these are dowels. She marked hers. She used, she wanted her texture to show, so she used snow on each one of her little angels, and she stamped the back of hers with a little butterfly stamp so I could tell what hers was. Rather than putting her name on it, she did a little stamp on the back. Good job. Okay, and this little dish is jaded. And the last thing in here, well, next to last, I got these little pieces. These, she said she wanted to be refrigerator magnets. Now she used Amico cherry blossom, and she did the red around the edges of it. You can see it's got a little bit of a red, kind of, I like that. which is the red stroke and coat. I use Hot Tamale. This one she did sky, and then she did the yellow. You see the difference, how bright this yellow is compared to what it looks like when you put it on a dark clay? That's the same glaze from this to this on white clay, which I use the standard 240 white. It is, I've bought Laguna B-Mix before, and it is a porcelainous clay. This is just like it. I could not tell the difference when I worked with Laguna. But Laguna I have to order by mail. The standard 240 white, I can drive down to the coast and get it and bring it back home. So that's what I use. And I love it. I know how it works. It works. I work well with it. But anyway, so this is Sky and the yellow Sun Kiss stroke and coat. And this is the red stroke and coat. And she did a little bit of the sky on the edges of her bird. All in all, I think everybody did a great job on their pieces. This is the last one I'll get out. This one she did red around the edges. This is the stroke and coat Hot Tamale all around the edges, and then she used jaded, she used the blues, and she used the yellow, which is sun-kissed, and she used the Hot Tamale red, and she touched each little area. She did a really good job. Even put the yellow centers in her flowers, and then I put the clear over the top of it. I have Crystal Clear, which is a dip and pour glaze, which is Clayscapes brand glaze, and I buy it powdery and I mix it and keep it in a bucket. But I do stir it and use a brush to mop it on, so you don't have to dip the whole thing. You just put it on where you want it. So she did a really good job on this one. All right, that is everything in the kiln. That's it. Everybody did a great job. I'll get these sorted out, who gets what, and get it all wrapped up to carry to them. I'm proud of how well they did. Their next class will be in October. It'll be on a Saturday, and we're going to make pumpkins. I already have Debbie Daylaw Design Gifts cutters to use for it, and I'm excited to let them make pumpkins. And I think they're excited to get back into the clay again. So I think they enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to it. If you haven't, click like and subscribe, do that, and you'll see other videos. Some of my videos you can look, and I teach you how to make things. I show how to make an egg tray and other things. I show you how to take a mug template and make a garden bale out of it, just different things. So, and if you're on Facebook, check me out, Dianna's Mud Shop. Like and share my page. And just thank you for watching. And till next time, see you in the mud shop. Bye.